Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to another blood-splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jacula.
And we just watched The Domestics, the latest movie starring Superman from Supergirl and Lois Lane from...
Superman Returns.
Yeah. In a post-apocalyptic action drama thriller about this couple that is trying to traverse through Milwaukee, or to Milwaukee, while encountering all these crazy gangs along the way.
Yeah, it's done by independent genre filmmaker Mike P. Nelson, who not the same Mike Nelson from MST3K.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
But man, like I went into this movie like a little hesitant because when a movie's main selling point is an actor from a TV show and not even like the lead actor for that TV show.
Yeah.
And it's mainly like the fangirls of that actor that are promoting the movie. I get a little worried, you know, like
yeah,
like
yeah,
I love Supernatural, for example, but like Jensen and Jared's movies have
they
not
don't
been,
open a movie.
They don't
open a movie. You
But
know.
that being said, this turned out to be a lovely little gem of a movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The main selling point for the movie is that it has these really crazy, outlandish, and fun themed gangs throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's got themed gangs like movies like the fucking Warriors got.
Yeah, very much like the Warriors. The movie plays itself a little bit more seriously than the Warriors, but the gangs remain just as ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. The crux of the movie is basically this couple kind of working out their relationship woes while on the road.
Yeah.
While encountering these gangs that kind of like force them to confront parts of their relationship.
Yes. Like one of the big MacGuffin is that the girl is looking for her parents who are in Milwaukee and they have to drive almost 200 miles to get there. And that goes through like 3 gang territories.
Yep. And the gangs are really fun. We have the gamblers, which are basically these people that are obsessed with gambling. They wear giant, like, animal heads.
Yeah, game animal heads.
Because they're big game hunters. Like, it's a lot of shit like that. And before they do anything, like, for example, when they, like, drive past some gambler snipers, they first roll this fucking, like, game board.
Roulette wheel.
Like a roulette reel. And if it lands on kill, then they shoot. And if it doesn't, they let them go. Like, that's how, like, ridiculous and over the top it is. There's a point in which, like, 2 guys are basically Rochambeauing to see if they're actually going to kill this person, kill them.
Yeah.
And so I love that. There is the Plowboys, which are a bunch of, like, good old boy farmer guys that, like, have tractors and shit like that.
Yeah.
But on top of that, they also sell women
as if slavers.
They're slavers, and they sell women as if they're cattle so that people can plow them. That's
That's how ridiculous the metaphors go.
What was it? The cherries?
The cherries.
The man-haters?
The man-haters, the cherries, and the sheets.
Yeah.
Are the other gangs.
The sheets were basically just a bunch of people in white sheets. We really don't get much of them in the movie, but I kind of assumed they were, like, KKK, essentially.
Yeah. They're super into Jesus, and they got, like, a red flag,
so
it's like...
I assume they're supposed to be the white supremacists.
Like, neo-Nazis and
but
shit.
you don't get much of them in this movie. You get basically one scene with them, and that's about it.
Yep.
But you do get more with the Nailers? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the Nailers.
Which are basically more the traditional, like, Mad Max-style post-apocalyptic punks.
Yeah.
With, like, motorcycles and, like, outfits that have, like, spikes sticking out of it and shit. And weapons that they've attached random shit to that doesn't need to be there, but it looks cool.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And they have, like, scary masks and stuff. Like, so you have the Nailers. You only get, like, a brief bit of the Nailers, but you get more of them than you do the sheets.
Yeah. The sheets are just kind of there in the beginning.
And you really only get one cherry.
Yeah. And you never see the man-haters.
No, you never see the man-haters. Not directly. But if they ever make a Domestics 2. Oh yeah, and that's another thing. There's another group of people that are called the Domestics, which our main characters are technically a part of, and that's everyone trying to maintain the
American Midwestern suburban way of life.
Exactly. And so they're kind of like, they're not like a gang in the way that the other ones are, in which they have like a leader and they have like a hierarchy and a structure. They're more like a loosely connected group of people that live in the same area, and they have like a pseudo community. They're trying to maintain what was lost before the apocalypse, so to speak.
Yeah, and as it turns out, like, not all the Domestics are 100% good people.
No. At one point, they encounter a cannibal domestic.
Yeah, cannibal domestics. The domestics, like, there are a couple of them that, like, sell them out at one point.
Yeah. There's some treachery. There's the usual kind of post-apocalyptic hijinks of the real monsters are the people. You know? Like,
mankind is the real monster. You know?
Did we really deserve to keep living on? Like,
oh my god, I think my favorite was the child murderer.
Oh yeah,
not a person who murders children, but a little kid fucking slasher that fucking murders people.
Little Shanker.
Little Shanker. And you don't find out who that is.
Oh, that's the other thing.
One
of the things that connects this movie together is that there's these driving interludes where it's like watching them travel on a map. And during these sequences, they often have this guy named Crazy Al on the radio telling them about the latest hijinks that happen.
Because the fucking, you driving on the apocalypse on the open road, you gotta have the radio DJ.
And Crazy Al acts like a Mad Dog from Fallout 3 in that the things that these characters do end up on the radio. Like
Yeah, he's Mad Dog, he's fucking well god, what was it in fucking Hardware? Angry Bob from Hardware.
Yeah.
You know, he's the fucking Wolfman from Six String Samurai, he's all that shit.
The dude from the dude and his wife from fucking Max Headroom.
Max Headroom, yeah, Blank Reg and Dom. Yeah, that's exactly who he is. You know,
you never see Crazy
him. You
never see him. But I have concluded after watching all these post-apocalyptic movies that when the apocalypse happens, I want to be the guy working in the radio tower.
Yeah,
that guy's the best. So yeah, the one thing I will tell you when going into this movie, like my one warning is that let the movie play through, because it starts off a little rough and you will find yourself wanting to criticize it, but the movie will answer itself as it goes on.
The movie does justify everything that happens.
Like one of the big problems that I had while watching this movie is that I really did not like Kate Bosworth's character, the wife. But like as the movie goes on, you grow to like her more, and she does have an arc that makes her a more interesting person than she starts off with.
Yeah, and it's important to note that the problem that you'll have with the character is not the actress. It's not how she's written. You're just gonna go, man, she's a fucking bitch.
Basically, yeah.
You know, but she's supposed to be.
She is absolutely supposed to be. And it's part of her story arc, and it's part of what... And you learn more about why she is the way she is as you go along, which makes it a little bit better, but still a little frustrating.
Yeah, in the beginning when you don't know, it's kind of like, why is this happening?
Yeah, why are you being so bitchy? Come on.
Yeah, why are you doing this, bitch? Come on.
But once you get past that, once you let the movie like answer itself and explain itself, like the movie's smooth sailing. It's a total fun ride, and has a very satisfying ending to me.
That moment in the beginning where he's talking to the husband's talking to like his neighbor.
Oh yeah,
that was weird because I found myself going like, this scene is so unnecessary.
It's basically exposition. Basically, what the scene establishes is that the car is rickety.
Yeah.
Which establishes every time it like has to break down later in the movie. And it establishes that his whole goal with this trip is to fix his relationship with his wife.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't establish her part, but establishes his part. We find out why she's on this trip later, and that has to do with her mom. But like those are the two things it tells us.
Yeah. It tells you that, but I was of the opinion that it didn't necessarily need to, because there were the rest of the movie explained it as it became relevant.
True. As per usual, we watched this movie on Amazon, so I'm going to include an Amazon affiliate link in the description below to it. And with that said, let us move on to the spoilers.
All right, where do you want to start?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, basically, let's, I guess, start from the beginning. Basically, we have this couple that were going through a divorce before the apocalypse happened. But then the apocalypse happened, and they're kind of forced to stick with each other because they're the only people they can trust.
Yeah.
And he's trying to rekindle things with her, but she's still kind of stuck in divorce mode.
Yeah.
So he tries to help her go visit her mom in Milwaukee, which is a very treacherous journey because along the way there's all these gang territories.
Yeah, and the reason the girl wants to go there so bad is because they lost contact.
Yes. And it's obvious that she is desperately trying to cling to her purpose and meaning of life from before the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because before she was the breadwinner, Before she was, she had a job, she had a career, but none of those skills really transfer into this post-apocalyptic
Yeah.
world.
She goes from being like the head of the household to nothing she knows how to do fucking matters.
Whereas he was doing construction and a bunch of odd jobs, but a lot of those jobs kind of do transfer into post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
Because they're survivor skills.
Yeah. Being able to fucking hammer nails actually turns out very useful.
You kind of get this impression that she's still kind of in divorce mode with him. She kind of resents him because he's now more useful than she is. But she's also kind of relying on him.
Yeah.
So when she starts getting...
She's relying on him a lot.
A lot. There's a point in which they're in a house and a bunch of gang members break in, and he leaves her with the gun and these pair of headphones so she doesn't have to listen to anything scary, while he goes downstairs with a screwdriver and fights these gang members. He could have used the gun, but he gave it to her so that she felt safe.
Yeah.
Like, this guy does everything within his power to make sure that she is safe, that she can rely on him, and that they survive.
Yeah.
And so every time she gets really bitchy and like cuts him down or like does that passive aggressive like wife in movie thing.
Yeah.
It gets really aggravating because you're just sitting there going like, look, I know you guys were going through a divorce. I know you're not where you want to be with this guy, but can you at least be nice to the dude that's keeping you alive? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You don't have to fuck him. You don't have to stay married with him, but at least like be nice to the dude who just brought you food and was almost killed by bikers doing it. Like,
yeah, exactly. And that frustration is part of the movie, because...
especially with how helpless she is at the beginning.
Oh God, yeah. It's one of those things where she's so helpless at the beginning. The minute she starts bitching, you're like, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing this whole time? By the way, this whole thing is happening because of you, by the way.
Well, yeah. He's doing this to get you to your mom. Like, he also has the ulterior motive of trying to rekindle your relationship. But he is ultimately still doing this and risking his life so that you can see your mom. Like,
yeah. And part of the movie is her understanding that this is the case.
Well, yeah, it's also her realizing that life has changed.
Yeah.
The parameters are different.
Can't go back.
Her role in life is different now, and she has to adapt. You know, she can't just let him, care for her. She has to fight too. And over the course of the movie, she starts doing that.
Yeah, she does. It's one of those, like, it's a really interesting, it's really interesting fucking story dynamic that you don't see very often, where the woman has, for lack of a better way of putting it, has her balls cut off in the beginning of the, before the beginning of the movie. Yeah. And so she's doing a lot of things to try to get them back until she actually figures out, oh, I have to do this. This is it. I have to actually figure out how to function.
She keeps doing this thing where she refers to it like it's a game. That there's like a role she has to take. That she has to do this. Yeah. And it's just like, it's the apocalypse. There is no more.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No,
this isn't the game of survival. This is literally just survival now. Like,
yeah. She does a lot of those, like, no, this is not, she does a lot of those kind of, like, denial.
Yeah.
I know this isn't quite happening kind of things.
And to a certain extent, I can empathize with what she's feeling, but it doesn't change the fact that she's basically belittling the only person who's helping her the whole time.
Yeah. And in the beginning of the movie, in the first third of the movie, every major decision she makes is wrong.
Oh, yeah. It leads to a lot of, like, oh, now you're fucked.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is that she learns. She gets better. She, like, by the end of the movie, she is saving his ass and kicking a bunch of ass and just fucking, she's got that shotgun, not that shotgun, what is it called? The guns that cock like this with the handle.
Oh, those are rifles.
Those are rifles, she's got that rifle, and she's the repeater rifle.
Yeah, repeater rifle.
And kicking fucking ass, and it's bad.
Yeah, no, it's great because basically, just at the point where you're like, dude, dump this bitch.
Yep.
Her character starts to turn around. She's like, wow, I'm kind of acting like a cunt.
Yeah.
I should probably not do that.
Well, the other thing he does is not just survival things. He also, when they stop somewhere, he does everything in his power to make her comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like he'll leave little notes if he has to go off and find food. And the notes like lead like, oh, if you go over here, here's where the music is in this house that I found. Oh, here's your favorite CD. And it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, like, why would you ever hate this dude? Like,
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with this guy. And you keep kind of, you wonder where the movie's going to go because you're like, all right, is there some hidden darkness about this dude that we don't know?
Yeah. Is he secretly abusive that we just haven't seen yet?
Yeah. But turns out, no, she just hasn't adapted yet.
You know,
she hasn't adapted to the fucking apocalypse.
Yes. Like the domestic life cannot be the way it was before.
Exactly.
You know, and over the course of the movie, the funny thing is they meet more people who have adapted in their own ways. And even though some of those ways are horrific.
Like the cannibals.
Like the cannibal family they encounter, who they befriend, and then they find out that the meat they're eating is cannibals because there is no meat anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God, that character is
that character is great. But what I love it is that's the first step of like, we've adapted. Come on, like why haven't you? Why haven't you figured this out? Like things aren't the way they were before. You can't do this the way you did it before.
Yeah. And maybe you don't want to go that fucking far, but he's got a point.
You got to adapt, you know. And over the course of the movie, it's basically her and him to a certain extent learning to adapt, but in their own ways.
Yeah,
you know. He eventually has to just kind of like learn to let her take the lead when he's injured.
Yeah.
You know, he can't take the lead anymore because he's shot, he's bruised up, he's been beat up, you know, he's bleeding out. Like, all right, take the gun, kick ass. Like, so yeah, the cannibal family, they encounter the plowboys, who we established earlier are the human traffickers, and one of the people that they've captured is this woman who we hear over Crazy Al's radio thing has been saving women from slavers and rapists, and she's a cherry, and she is the only cherry we really get to see, and she basically becomes our main character's guardian angel over the course of the movie because she takes a shine to the girl.
Yeah.
But they have no idea she's there. They have no idea that she's watching them.
She's the mysterious stranger.
She's just following them along their journey because basically she loves the girl. But the girl ends up over the course of the movie realizing that she loves her husband, so she kind of has to learn to like let go, but she's still sticking with them as their guardian angel.
Yeah.
And there's a point where to show you how bad their relationship gets, there's a point where she takes off her ring and leaves it at this one house they're at.
Yeah.
And the guardian angel
fucking take off.
Yeah, and the guardian angel takes that ring and gives it to the husband at the end of the movie, right before she's killed.
Yeah.
And you feel bad, but you also understand that this is kind of like the end of her journey at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Because like the entire time you're like, is she just gonna kill this husband and then run off with this chick? You know, and then it turns out, no, she isn't. She's
she has some of my favorite moments in the movie, though, because there's a point where she takes out all the plowboys.
Oh my God, yeah.
She takes out all the plowboys, she lets all the prostitutes and the human trafficked women go, and takes their weapons and their police car. And one of the weapons she takes is a gun that is labeled Miss 42, a reference to Miss 45. And once I saw that, I'm like, all right, they're coming from the right place with this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ! And the funny thing is it's actually not a 45. It's a fucking. The reason it's a 42, gun. It's actually a Gatling gun.
It's a Gatling gun. It's
badass. Oh man!
And she uses it on the gamblers later when the gamblers try to take the girl. There's a point where they get captured by the gamblers and are taken to one of their gambling rings where they are taken to the Snake Eyes room.
Yeah.
Where they're basically...
Russian roulette.
It is. They're sat in a chair with two revolvers pointed at one another. So the husband and the wife are forced with these revolvers pointed at one another. Their hands are screwed into the revolver, which are screwed into a wooden plank on the table. So they can't move it. And they're strapped to the chair. And they have to pull the trigger, otherwise they will add more bullets to the gun.
Yeah.
And basically people are betting on who's going to get shot, who's going to die.
And that's the moment when the wife
fully transitions
because she's like got the plan to get him out of there.
Yep.
And it's one of those, holy crap, that is a ballsy fucking
playing
move.
The long odds.
Yeah.
It's really great. She gets him out of that. And she'd started her transition before that because she had this whole moment alone when he was being accosted by this like rich gay dude and his big gimp.
Oh my god!
In a really weird
Fucking
segment
hell.
of the movie.
Yeah.
Where he has to either kill the cannibal husband and his son or fight the big gimp named Mr. Biggs.
Mr. Big.
And so basically go big or go home. But this is all happening while she is having this little journey of kind of rediscovering what she loves about her husband.
Yeah.
And like he found like the CD for her, and so she or this 8-track, not 8-track,
It's an
vinyl.
album. Yeah, LP.
An actual album. And she puts it on, and this is where we find out that she was like apparently at one point a total rocker chick.
Yeah.
Because she's playing this like total rock album and rocking out and fucking
Oh yeah, well it's
thrashing.
got like the album has like a
Satan.
fucking Satan on it, you know.
And this is also when the guardian angel Cherry Girl comes across their house and watches her rocking out in the living room and just kind of falls in love with her. But what she doesn't realize is that while she's rocking out, she's actually remembering all the good times with her husband. Like she's remembering.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because the Cherry Girl is kind of like she's kind of like Cupid.
Yeah, she kind of
like
basically
a badass
she is.
Cupid.
She basically is. And she's a sniper too, so it's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. So this movie is super fun.
It's really fun.
Super good.
It's really fun. If you like warrior-style crazy gang movies, then this has got it up the wazoo. If you want a movie about like rocky relationships, like coming together in the end. If you like Bonnie and Clyde stories,
Oh yeah.
you know, because by the end of it, these two badasses basically making a name for themselves, having taken out two gangs.
Yeah. This is kind of like there's a lot of like true romance in the apocalypse kind of deal.
Yes.
You know.
And what I also like about it is that because it has Lois Lane from Superman Returns and because it has Superman from Supergirl, you do kind of feel like this is a weird post-apocalyptic like Superman and Lois Lane story.
Yeah, Clark Kent Lois Lane story. And the funny thing is, having watched this guy not only play Superman on Supergirl, but in this role, I find myself just constantly going, he's not just Superman Y.
Yeah, he's a way better Superman.
He's
yeah,
super
I love him.
good. Not that I hate the dude that they got, but those movies blow. Anyway.
It's a totally different story.
Yeah.
And where can they find you, Count Jacula?
They can find me here on YouTube at The Count Jacula Show, and you can also find me on Twitter at Count_Jacula. I also have a Twitch channel, which you can feel free to follow me on. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can find me at The Horror Guru on pretty much all the platforms. Either look up The Horror Guru or look up Blood Splattered Cinema, and you will find me. That's on Facebook, that's on Twitter, and that's on Twitch. And I guess with all that said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And as always, my fellow Gorehounds, peace out, and we'll catch y'all later.